Ember Witch. Book 1. The Lich. Volume 1. Black Tragedy. Chapter 4. Black Tragedy. September 19, 459 BME to October 31, 461 BME. Fragment 38. Unknown Fates. She shot up coughing and wheezing as Maria braced her in her arms.
Oh gods, I thought I lost you.
Maria sobbed and Hana looked around the forest that surrounded her.
What the fuck happened?
Hana asked after she caught her breath.
You stopped breathing, your body went stiff. I tried to wake you up but you wouldn't respond. I had to perform mouth to mouth. Gods, I am so sorry.
Maria said and Hana pushed her off, then stood up.
I died? I was there. I saw her.
Hana said in a whisper and Maria got to her feet.
What do you mean you saw her?
Maria asked and Hana didn't answer.
She spoke to me directly.
Hana whispered and began walking into the forest.
Hey, where are you going?
Maria asked as she followed her. Hana was in a state of mental overload. She had been dead for only a few moments before Maria had resuscitated her, but in that time she had seen so much. Was that the afterlife? It seemed too real, too tangible to be like what the religions say it's like. She could feel the soft material that she sat on. She could feel the warm and cozy air in the room. Every dream she has had before this couldn't even come close to what she had experienced just now. Her mind ran in circles, just trying to process everything she had seen. She walked without knowing where she was going. She just needed to move, needed to walk. Maria followed close behind and reached out her hand, grasping Hana's arm.
Hey, you can't just wander off like that,
Maria said and Hana stopped.
Do you believe in the afterlife?
Hana asked and Maria was caught off guard.
The afterlife? Like the void and the light?
She asked and Hana looked into her eyes.
I am not sure, to be honest. I have been taught from my birth that Kelis will cast my soul into the domain I deserve based on my life choices when I die. I however haven't completely bought into the idea. I'm not a religious type, to be honest, so it's not something that I think about.
Maria continued as she looked anywhere but Hana's eyes.
In my life I have experienced many things that have shaped my faith. As you may be aware, I was wearing a shoulder cloak with the symbol of the god sewn into it. You say I wasn't breathing. For how long was I like that?
Hana asked and Maria thought for a second.
About 2 minutes, maybe less,
she said and Hana nodded.
While I was unconscious or possibly even dead, I experienced a vision. A vision so real that it has now reshaped what I believe in. The gods are real, Maria, listen for them and you will begin to believe as I do.
Hana said and Maria finally looked into her eyes. Hana was much shorter than her, as were all Fyron compared to the Lyran, so as Maria looked down she could see red tears beginning to well in her eyes.
I have no words. I don't know what to say, my lady,
Maria said and Hana turned away.
There is nothing to say. Let's get this hunt over with. I need to discuss this with Fevra,
Hana said and Maria nodded, then began leading Hana once more. Hana and Maria made it back a few hours later to find Fevra and Jolan entering the High Council tent. Maria led her to the healer's tent and sat her down before she left to drop off the small game they had captured on their hunt. She returned minutes later, then began pressing her color into Hana.
It seems like the damage is getting worse. I will speak with High Leader Tanra to possibly find you a better fit for work while you stay with us,
Maria said and Hana shot her a look.
Fevra and I need to get moving. We need to inform the other packs before it is too late. We have wasted enough time as it is already,
Hana said and Maria sighed.
You can't push yourself. You nearly died out there. I was ordered to serve as your partner, but that doesn't mean I will allow you to kill yourself. Please listen to me, Hana, you are going to die. You only have a few years left if you are lucky. Let your body rest and come to terms with your fate,
Maria pleaded and Hana stood from the bed.
I am not wasting away in this camp. I will die finishing what I came to this forest for,
Hana said, then pushed her way out of the tent. She walked quickly across the camp and came to the High Council tent. She stepped inside and was immediately stared down by 7 Lyran.
I am sorry to interrupt your meeting, but I have urgent information I must give to Fevra,
she said, and High Leader Tonra turned his head.
Speak your mind,
he said, waving his hand.
I would prefer this conversation to be private,
she said, and Fevra shook his head.
Anything important enough to interrupt our council meeting is important enough to share with all of us. If you believe that it is for Fevra's ears only, then why barge in uninvited?
High Leader Tonra said, and Hana frowned.
Fine,
Hana said, then stepped forward.
I demand that you allow us to leave. We have been here for months and the Elven are planning an invasion. If we do not warn the rest of your people, the Elven could break through your forest and take you by storm. I have recovered enough to travel. Fevra and I are the only ones who can deliver this message and have it be completely believable. I am tired of sitting around waiting for your blessing,
Hana said in an angry tone, and High Leader Tonra looked down to the ground with a frown.
This council meeting was about just that. Fevra has already spoken his impatience on the matter. I will allow you to leave, however Jolan and Maria will accompany you along the way. They will ensure that you are not killed for being an exile and an outsider. I only wish that you would have thought before you jumped to action. Your anger, impatience, immaturity and fears will be your downfall just as much as your injuries,
he said, and Hana took a step back in embarrassment and shame.
I sincerely apologize, my lord,
she said, and Tonra lifted his head.
I can see hatred in you. For what I cannot say. Keep your emotions at bay when around the other high leaders. They are less forgiving as I am. Please rest from your hunt. We will inform you when the time comes to leave,
he said in a commanding, but almost fatherly tone. Hana bowed, then exited the tent.
I apologize, High Leader. Hana is not used to our way of life and our mission has weighed on her for some time,
Fevra said, and Tonra nodded to him.
I understand. Go and speak with her. Our decision is final. You will be escorted by Jolan and Maria to the other packs,
Tonra said, and Fevra stood then bowed in the traditional Fyron manner. He stepped out of the tent and Jolan turned to Tonra.
Do you really trust them? I saw what that blade did. Do you really think that he is here to warn us of an elven plot?
He asked, and Tonra frowned.
I am unsure of the real truth. Perhaps he believes that he is doing the right thing, but the pressure he exudes is a sure sign that it still holds power over him. Let him warn the other packs, but don't let him out of your sights,
Tonra said, and Jolan nodded, then left the tent.
What is your deal? You can't just barge into the council tent like that. You are going to get us both killed. I understand you hate the Lyran, but that doesn't give you any right to act like this,
Fevra said as he stepped into Hana's tent. She looked at him with tears in her eyes, then wheezed.
I saw Vir. I saw her, Fevra,
she said, and Fevra froze up.
What are you talking about?
Fevra asked after a moment.
I don't know exactly how it happened, but I died. It was only for a minute or two as Maria revived me, but while I was gone she came to me. We need to get the blade. We can't keep wasting our time here. I don't care if you don't believe in her, but I know what I saw,
she said, and Fevra sat down across from her.
What did you see?
He asked as Hana wiped the tears from her eyes.
I was standing in a dark room. It was hard to make out any details besides for a desk in the center with a candle on it. A window off to one wall and 2 chairs. Vir walked into the room and gestured for me to sit. As I did, she opened the curtains with silver color, revealing a city made of moving images and light. Different traces showing off objects that I couldn't even describe if I had all the time in the world. Moving messages that ran across the sides of the buildings. It was so much information that I am still having trouble processing it. After a few minutes she led an Oki Elven into the room. After discussing someone named Alyssa having gone missing, the Noki left the room and Vir spoke to me directly. She said my name. I tried to speak, but my body disintegrated into ash just before Maria brought me back. She wants us to finish the job,
Hana explained, and Fevra looked shocked. He ran his hand across his face, then sighed.
Why should I obey the orders of a god that presides over necromancy? I spent months tracking down and ending the splinter cell from your church. Why would I want to even think about following the Dark Goddess? You realize that I lost my home, my family, my arm and my people because of necromancy, right? I am only bringing you to the blade because it needs to be in our hands and not the Elvins. I don't care about your religion, I don't want anything to do with your goddess.
Fevra said, then stood up.
Gods, you're just like the rest of the mutts here. Get the fuck out of my tent.
Hana replied as her emotions flared up.
You are so fucking full of yourself. Get over the past, Hana. Move forward, not backwards.
Fevra said, and Hana stood up in pure rage. She grabbed Fevra by his shirt and threw him out of the tent.
I said get the fuck out.
Hana yelled as tears streamed down her face. Fevra fell backwards, but caught himself. He looked around to see several Lyran staring at him.
Your girlfriend seems pretty pissed off. I would be too if I had to be around your sorry ass. Oh wait, I have to be.
Jolan said as he walked up to Fevra.
She's not my girlfriend.
Fevra replied, and Jolan's shoulder checked him as he walked past.
Sure, whatever you say, Pack Slayer.
Jolan retorted, and Fevra clenched his fist. He turned away and headed to his tent. He sat on his bed, then looked down to his stump. He wanted so badly to see Vera again. She had become the one person he could vent his frustration to. Of course she would berate him for being weak, but he knew that she took his concerns into account before she spoke. She was cold and hard on him, but she had shown to care about him. Hana, on the other hand, straight up hated him. She might talk nicely, but she held so much disdain for him and the other Lyran. He had no idea why she would even consider preaching to him about the Dark Goddess. He had spent months hunting down the necromancers that threatened the East. He had lost so much to necromancy, and it baffled him that Hana would place her faith in a god who pushed the dark power over her subjects. He cooled his anger over several minutes and heard someone approaching his tent. He took a deep breath and calmed his mind as Maria announced herself. He told her to enter, and she stepped through the doorway. She bowed in her terrible Fyron imitation, and Fevra shook his head.
You don't have to do that, Maria,
he said, and Maria looked down in embarrassment.
I'm sorry, my lord. I was sent to bind your color again. I attempted to see Hana first, but she was so distraught that she refused to let me in. Ever since we went out for our hunt, she has seemed very upset,
Maria said as she held her hands together staring at the ground.
Hana is a very complicated person. She isn't exactly happy to be here,
Fevra said, and Maria looked up to him.
I know that our way of life isn't as luxurious as the palace you two must have lived in. I only wish that we could provide the same environment here,
Maria said, and Fevra shook his head.
It's not like that. Hana isn't very trustful of others. I can't tell you why, as I don't know the reason myself. All I know is that something happened during her youth that has affected her deeply,
Fevra said, and Maria knelt down to him. She extended her collar and began pushing it into Fevra as she spoke.
I am just so confused. She acts like she has something on her mind, specifically about you. I can't tell, but the way she talks about you, it seems like she might be in love with you.
Fevra looked up to her with utter disbelief.
I assure you that is not the case. She can't stand being around me, let alone stomach the idea of being my partner,
he said, and Maria looked down.
I apologize, my lord. I didn't mean to pry into your complicated relationship,
she said, and Fevra took a deep breath.
It's okay. She is only with me on this mission because she was assigned to accompany me by Morden. Anyway, I already have a partner back east,
Fevra said, then instantly regretted it as Maria lit up.
Oh, would you mind talking about her? I would love to know how you found love all the way out of the Evergreen,
she said, and Fevra ran his hand on the back of his head.
It's complicated,
he replied, and Maria gave him a look as if that wasn't going to cut it. He sighed, then relaxed.
The East and in turn the Fyren are different than we are. They have similar principles when it comes to marriage, but they don't hold monogamy in the same regard as we do.
He said, and trailed off before he finished his sentence. Maria looked up to him expecting him to continue, and Fevra adjusted his collar.
Let's just say it's complicated and leave it at that,
he said, and Maria pushed her collar, causing him to jerk in slight pain.
Ow. Alright. There isn't a girl. I have been blessed with a good home and even better friends. These friends have taught me a lot about myself and my place in the world. One of them is the most talented mage I have ever seen, another is the most fun and interesting person I know, and the third is the wisest being to ever grace my life.
Fevra said, and Maria turned her head in confusion.
So you are a Lyso?
She asked as she pulled her color away from him.
No. I'm not exactly sure. I told you it's complicated.
Fevra replied, now full of embarrassment.
Well, you either are or you aren't. I understand that some males find each other's company more preferable to females. Your secret is safe with me either way,
Maria said, and Fevra shook his head again.
No, it's not like that. My clan is mostly female except for me.
Fevra began explaining, and Maria looked at him as if he hadn't made any sense at all.
What do you mean? Your partner isn't female as you said and isn't male, then I don't understand what you are talking about,
she said, and Fevra began burning under his fur.
Okay, it's like this. I am not exactly in a partnership with anyone. Instead, I am with 3 individuals. Think of it like a small pack. Each member, instead of being monogamous, they are all together. Each member is different, but we share the same love. There is Vera, my closest friend, Cress, the first person to show me the differences between our cultures, and Neela, the woman who found me and brought me into the position I am today.
Fevra explained, and Maria looked as if she was still confused.
Why would you say that you don't know if you are a Lyso? I'm sorry, this is all just so confusing,
she replied, and Fevra began sweating.
Cress is she is a complicated person. There is no word to describe her in our tongue. She herself is not exactly what you would call female. Not in a physical sense, at least,
he said, and Maria gasped in realization.
Oh gods, I am sorry I invaded so much into your personal life,
she said, and Fevra shook his head.
It's okay. I was just as confused as you were when I met her. She has the kindest heart and has seen a lot of judgment in her life for who she is. Our relationship is something that is still confusing to me, to be honest. For over 20 years I was taught that relationships were strictly between 2 partners, 1 male and 1 female, but after being exiled and taken in by the Fevra, I have learned that things aren't so black and white,
Fevra said, and Maria looked down to the floor once more.
Your way of life is so different. You have multiple partners, something that seems so wrong. How do they not feel any jealousy or anger over a situation like that?
She asked, and Fevra laughed.
Trust me, I have asked myself the same question on several occasions. It does happen, but we all agreed that we are stronger together than apart. Our situation is far more like a family than a traditional partnership. We help each other, stand together against any struggles we face. Don't think too hard about it, because honestly, the more you try to understand it, the more confused you will be,
Fevra said, then looked down to Maria, who was still looking down at the ground.
I understand that you are young. The world is a very large and complex place. Keep your head up. Face your fears and don't let anything stop you from reaching your goals. I was at rock bottom and now look at me. I'm a personal guard to the ruler of the East. I might be missing an arm, but that hasn't stopped me,
Fevra said, gesturing toward his arm. Maria looked up with a new attitude.
I did want to ask about how you lost your arm, but I didn't know if I should,
she said, and Fevra smiled.
I was hunting down a murderer across the East, Vera, and I tracked him from the capital city of Myopia to a port town called Shikari on the northern coast. After questioning the victim's family, we learned that he had headed west to an inland city called Halcyon. We arrived to find that one of my clanmates had already found the murderer. We engaged in combat in the middle of the city. After an intense fight, my clanmate turned on Vera and I, as he turned out to be working for a clan of necromancers behind our backs. He used a color blade and got a good chop in after I had overstepped an attack and sliced it clean off. My partner Vera finished him off after that,
Fevra explained, leaving out the massive amount of boring travel and his depressive breakdown he had while locked in prison. Maria lit up in excitement.
You saw the ocean? You are so lucky. Is it as beautiful as the stories say it is? How big is it?
She asked, and Fevra smiled.
The stories are true. It's endless blue for as far as you can see. Although it's not as pleasant on the nose,
he answered, and Maria smiled as wide as he had ever seen anyone smile before.
I wish I could see it,
she said, and Fevra smiled back.
Well, you will be escorting Hana and I to the Rosen Rain, so you will be able to see it when we arrive,
he said, and Maria shot up from the floor.
Are you serious? I get to travel to the Rosen Rain? Oh gods, I have dreamed of seeing the cherry blossom since I was a child. I told my mother that I would stand on the tallest branch and look over the ocean when I was old enough. How can I ever thank you for this?
She asked in total awe and excitement.
It's not necessary, Maria. I am glad that I could help make one of your dreams come true,
he said, and Maria flew forward, wrapping him in a hug.
You have no idea how happy I am. When do we leave?
She asked after she stepped back.
I am not sure. High Leader Tonra discussed it with me just before you came to bind me. I would guess within a week. Although Jolan will be with us,
he said, and Maria frowned.
Well, I guess it makes sense, but I really don't like him. He's too arrogant and rather rude,
she said, and Fevra laughed.
Believe me, I know. He was in my pack for a year before my exile.
Maria laughed along, then stood up.
I should get going. Hana still needs to be bound, and I am afraid I may have spent too much time with you as it is. Thank you for speaking with me, my lord,
she said, and then bowed. Fevra stood and did the same.
You are welcome to speak with me anytime you want,
Fevra replied, and Maria smiled, then stepped out of the tent. Fevra sighed, then laid down on his bed. He wanted to lay in his own bed again. He wanted to go back to Myopia and be around the Firen people again. He thought that he belonged here with his people, but after losing his brother and his pack, he had begun a new life. Talking to Maria about it only made him realize how little he actually knew about the world when he was younger. He looked up to the brown cloth that made up his tent and relaxed. He hadn't known Maria very well before his exile. The last time he had seen her was when she was 8 years old. She had grown to be a very competent young woman, no doubt. Sina used to talk about his daughter in high regards over the years, but he had learned through Tonra that she had passed away not too long ago. He felt terrible over the loss of yet another member of his family. He only wished that he could have been there to pay his respects. He rolled over to his side and let the sound of the forest calm his mind. Maria stepped out of Hana's tent after finally binding her color. She noticed Jolan watching her and tried to turn away, but he gestured his head for her to follow him. She walked behind him as he led her to the High Leader's tent. They entered and knelt down in front of him.
What did you learn, Maria?
Tonra asked, and Maria looked down to the ground.
Fevra, he is in a complicated situation,
she started to say, and Tonra looked to her with passion.
It's okay, my dear. Please continue,
he said, and she took a deep breath.
He is a Lyso and a Mero. He told me all about his relationships in the East. He also explained how he lost his arm. He was apparently hunting a murderer when one of his clan members turned on him,
she said, and Jolan shook his head in disgust.
High Leader, I don't think taking them to the other packs is a good idea. You can't seriously trust someone who not only sleeps with males but also takes multiple partners. He has been entirely corrupted by darkness. His pressure even breaks through his binding. We should kill both of them and be done with it. The Firen was even wearing the dark symbol. They are here for no other reason than to steal the blade,
Jolan said, and Tonra frowned.
It is saddening to hear that he has been so corrupted. I am unsure what to think at this time. Why would he bring a Firen into the forest? If she is here to help take the blade, then they surely deserve their fates. However, their words about the Elven seem truthful,
Tonra said, then looked to Maria again.
What do you think of all this, Maria? Jolan is too connected to Fevra to judge the situation with a clear head. Do you find their intentions to be honest?
He asked, and Maria looked up to him, unsure about the words she was about to say.
High Leader, I am only 16. I have little experience in life to judge one by their actions, as I myself have made plenty of mistakes,
she said, and Jolan scoffed.
You are under oath, girl. Whatever you say reflects upon your standing in the pack. Speak your mind and choose your place,
he said, and Maria shrank in fear.
Jolan, please control your anger. I understand you have resentment for both of them, but that doesn't mean you have to take it out on Maria,
Tonra said, then nodded to her.
High Leader, I believe they are telling the truth about the Elven. Both of them speak so passionately about it as if it consumes their entire mind. Even the most skillful liars in our pack have a tell when they lie. I couldn't find any sign that they are lying about that. As for the blade, it is possible that they have other motives, but as I had heard, it has been locked away in the deepest part of the cherry blossom, surrounded by the grand mages day and night. They have been bound from using their color. There is no way they could reach it. I believe that we would be dooming ourselves if we put them to death, at least before we warn the other packs. They are the only ones who can relay that information and have it be believed by the other high leaders. They would surely question how we managed to gain this information and mark us as deserters. We need them as much as they need us,
she said, and Tanra closed his eyes for a few moments, thinking over the situation.
You are correct in your assumptions, Maria. Without evidence that the Elven are moving against the mainland, they are the only ones who can deliver the information. If we kill them now, the other high leaders will think that one of my pack left the forest without direct permission of the rest. After the message is delivered, we will decide their fate, but for now they must live,
Tanra said, and Jolan frowned in disappointment.
You will leave in 2 days. Lead them to each pack, but inform the council of the situation before you bring them into their camps. If you two are seen escorting an exile and an outsider before the council knows what to expect, you all will die.
Tanra continued.
Yes, High Leader.
They both said. Then Jolan left the tent. Maria, however, stayed kneeling at his feet.
Is there something else you would like to discuss?
Tanra asked, and Maria looked to the ground again.
Yes, High Leader, the Fyren? Hana, she has been injured too severely for this journey. She nearly died on our hunt. I am afraid that if we leave now, she won't make it,
she said in a low tone, and Tanra frowned.
I knew that her condition was an issue, but if what you say is true, she will only live another few years as it is. I understand that this is a difficult decision to make. I believe in your abilities. I know that on this journey you will be able to keep her stable. My decision is final. If we wait any longer, the snow will set in and she will die anyway. Do all you can to keep her stable,
Tanra said, and Maria, still not looking up, nodded her head.
Yes, High Leader,
she said, and Tanra placed his hand on her shoulder.
Your mother would be proud, Maria,
he said, and Maria finally looked back up.
Thank you, Father,
she said in a low tone.